Hey guys, so Leo is coming to GL. He's getting a new FR and also a BT. So let us go right into his kit. First off, let us discuss about his FR. Is his FR good against to be used as a main FR? Well, technically yes, if you're fighting against single target, 75% as long as precision strike debuff is on the enemy, and if you are hitting a single target enemy, it's pretty generic, right? So he does precision strike debuff from his S1, from his LD, and his FR. So there's no way that you will be, even his AA, so there's no way that the enemy will not be inflicted with his debuff. And that's one of the whole reason that you are bringing Leo anyway. So generic 75%, pretty good. But only if you're fighting against single target. Against multi-target, it can be a bit difficult because you will be restricted to use attacks that is single target based. With splash is okay, but not those that have AoE brave damage and AoE HP attack. So do be careful if you do use him on a multi-target enemy. It can be tricky if you do use his FRS main, and we already do have FR that is generic and grants a total of 80%, which is higher than 75%. So I wouldn't exactly recommending that, to use his FR as main. As Echo, his FR is really good because first, his FR has 3 turns delay, and that is actually good. Even if you are fighting against 2 enemy, you can just target one, and then after that you alternate target the others, and both will be delayed, right? So it is actually pretty good. And his FR coupled with his BT follow-up, it is hit really hard. So it's just like Tifa. So I believe you have watched most of my videos where I use Tifa to nuke the enemy down, even dealing up to like 80 million damage, I think. So Leo is almost similar level as Tifa's nuke, but because his follow-up attack is only 4 turns, while Tifa is 6, so technically Tifa will hit harder, but Tifa's follow-up doesn't work during another character's turn, but Leo's does. As long as the party is hitting the enemy that has precision strike debuff, Leo will constantly do 4 HP down follow-up attack. But the point here is that why compare Tifa with Leo? Because Leo does provide some form of support aura, and you can just put them together in the same party and they will melt almost any single target boss easily. Okay, so I'm giving his FR a score of 4.5 because I do think it's really good as an Echo, and can be used as main if you want to. How about his BT? So yes, I would say you will need his BT because without his BT, he still do okay-ish single target damage, and you probably will then use him mainly for his delay utility. But we know now, fighting against Shinryu fights where you activate your FR, you win the enemy within like 10 turns, 20 turns, you technically do not need that much delay, right? As long as you are able to delay by a certain amount, then you are good. So yeah, in some of my evaluation, I do think that his delay, last time I really liked delay. I love delay. Like any character that have massive 2-turn, 3-turn delay, I really rate them really high. But now it is not as important as before. Doesn't mean that it's entirely not important, but his BT brings so much more in terms of giving the entire party more total damage, because every time someone's hitting enemies that has precision strike debuff on, then he will do a 4 HP dump follow-up attack. So it does bring him up to the level of the current meta, because so many characters now getting follow-up attacks. We have Balthier dealing so much damage, Rex dealing so much damage, even Ram herself is dealing so much damage. So Yeah, so with Leo's BT, it does justify that he's bringing sufficient damage for the current meta. And the good thing is his BT is 8 turns, but overall, in terms like, yes, he does need his BT, but in an overall aspect, I will still think he should be getting a little bit more utility than what he have right now. Maybe some AoE kind of like utility. Like if we are comparing 7 technically is also single target because the snake bite is on one target, but her off-turn damage is AoE, so it is still okay. And the thing is that even if you are attacking an enemy that does not have the snake bite buff, debuff, it doesn't really matter because now with all the BT effects and everything, we probably deal higher. We probably can hit cap anyway, right? But now that they tie the BT effect to precision strike, makes it really single target oriented. Doesn't mean he's not usable in multi-target. I will talk about that in a little bit, but it does feel like we are really tuned into just single target fight if we are using Leo. So I would hope the BT actually have something more like once you activate the BT, then precision strike debuff will not fall off, then it will be applied on both enemy. So something like that makes it easier for you to trigger his follow-up attack. I would think that would be great, but I don't know, maybe in the future he'll be getting that. But so far in JP, after getting FE50, his kit technically remains the same. Now for his kit, he's a delayer, that is very obvious. Then now he's a follow-up attacker with his BT. He's a very good single target DPS, and he actually have aura that supports the team, right? His aura is not bad at all. It's like generic 20% HP damage up, and then based on precision strike, that's like additional 20% HP damage up, so 40% HP damage up with a bit of attack up, max brave up. So he will actually, with assuming like you will bring a team that you have 3 BT effect activated, and with Leo, you probably gonna hit cap anyway. So how are we gonna optimize his kit? So first of all, we can use his FR to delay and deal massive damage to bypass threshold. So what I mean is, like, if you notice some of the video where I use Tifa, I just hit the enemy so hard that it drops from, let's say, 50% all the way to 20%, then it skips to threshold, right? But that is kind of like irrelevant right now because of HP gate. We can't be bypassing threshold so easily, but HP gate is not going to be staying for that long. Some difficult fight, they will still bring back HP gate, but as far as I know, like for the last 1 or 2 months in JP, or even longer than that, there has been no HP gates, so you can start doing back, those nuke strategy that we have been doing before they implement HP gate. And his FR coupled with the 4 HP down from the BT, he really does a lot of damage, especially if you include launch, right? So because launch, with all the party member participating in launch, it increases the wall damage. So the good thing is his FR count with 3 turns delay, so it's very likely that you will get the entire full team to join in your launch. Okay, if you're fighting against multiple enemy, so do remember that using S1 LD FR do allow you to switch targets, so it's not like you are entirely focused onto one enemy at a time. So during his turn, if you use S1, because he will apply the debuff first, then he will attack, then he will do the follow-up, so you won't feel like you are lacking out. Okay, so but this is a problem if you enter another single target DPS PT phase. So like example, if you enter Tifa's PT phase, then you are fighting against 2 enemies. So Tifa will be smashing down one enemy, and by the time she kills that enemy, the other enemy does not have precision strike. So you won't have Leo doing follow-up damage anymore. So I do find it a bit tricky if you are trying to use Leo and you enter someone's BT phase against multi-target enemy. So do be careful with that. So if you are using Leo against multiple enemy, you probably will not enter a BT phase unless it is Leo's own BT phase, because he at least can switch the precision strike during his own BT phase by using S1 LD or FR. So do keep note on that. And among his skills, his attacks, S2 is the hardest hitting attack with 8 HP dumps and 1 splash. So including his off turn, a total of 13 HP dumps. Then his EX is AOE 6 HP dumps, so that's 12 plus 4 single target, so total of 16. So it won't be bad entering his BT phase. He will still deal very strong or very high damage against single target bosses. So if you are going into his BT phase, then his rotation will be S1 because it has the lowest HP dump, LD, EX, S2, S2, FR. But again, this means that you'll only be attacking like one enemy, like enemy A with S1. Then you have to switch to enemy B with LD. Then EX, S2, S2 is on enemy B. And then finally FR, you switch it back to enemy A. So I'm not exactly sure how much each of this would deal. Would you get somewhat equal damage going doing this? If not, then you should switch maybe S2 and LD slightly, because technically the LD also hit really hard as 7 HP dumps. So maybe you can do something like S1 EX, S2 LD, S2 FR. Okay, so it really depends on what you're actually doing. And if you are going for the new strategy where you build up your HP damage bonus, so obviously it is best to use your FR at the end. When HP damage bonus is 999%, then you use his FR. So it will guarantee that he will be dealing a huge amount of damage. And I've mentioned about his auras, so a recommended team here will be Tifa, Orain, Leo, and Noctis, because Noctis also does single target follow-up. So imagine if you have Tifa, Leo, and Noctis. Tifa do 12 HP dumps, then you have Leo 4 and Noctis 4. There's a total of 20 HP dumps, so that's crazy. So when to use Leo? Obviously when you're fighting against single target bosses and when you need delay. Even if it's multi-target bosses but you really need delay, then Leo can provide that for your team. So overall, I'm giving him a score of 8. So I would give him 9 if his precision strike can be, applied on 2 enemies at the same time. But sadly it doesn't. So anyway, I hope whoever is pulling, or if you are planning for White Crystal, once Crystal passive or the Crystal mission quest is launched in GL, then you should be getting Leo. But for me, I probably will skip Leo. If I go for White Crystal, there's only some of the character that I really want, and yeah, so I probably will skip it. So anyway, good luck with your pulls, and I hope you enjoyed the video.